story time with Mama G. Come and hear a story with me. Love who you want to be, who you are. Learn these lessons and we'll go far. It's story time. Story time. Story time with Mama G. Hello everybody, it's Mama G here, and I am very excited to be sharing some digital story time with Mama G sessions for you all, so you all have a marvellous summer holiday and enjoy lots and lots and lots of activities and events for the Summer Reading Challenge. Now, if we've not met before, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Mama G, and what I do is I go all over the country telling children and their families stories about being who you are and loving who you want. And I cannot wait to share some stories with you. Oh, but I realise, though, I've been terribly rude, haven't I? Because I've introduced myself to all of you, but I haven't asked any of you who you are. And I think if we're going to be friends, then I really ought to find out your names. So what I want you to do is after 3, I want you all to shout out your names for me as loudly as you possibly can. All right, here we go. After 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh, that wasn't too bad, but I think we should try again, and I think we should be even louder. And you know what I think will help? I think if all the grown-ups join in as well. So let's try again after 3, nice and loud with the grown-ups. 1, 2, 3. Oh, wonderful. What are the chances? All you beautiful, gorgeous individuals here, and you're all called... That'll be 4 months in lockdown for you, won't it, I suppose? Well, it's almost time for my first story, and this story is called I Can Sing a Rainbow. But as we tell this story, we're going to do a little science experiment as well. Isn't that exciting? You weren't expecting science from me, were you, darlings? Well, look, it takes all sorts. So if you'd like to join in, what you need to do is you need to grab some kitchen roll, some felt tips, and 2 shallow bowls of water. So what we're going to do is, with an adult, we're going to cut the kitchen roll into a rainbow shape. Just a smallish rainbow, it doesn't have to be too big. And then you get your felt tips and you colour the colours of the rainbow in at either end, just a little tiny bit. So red and orange and yellow and green and blue and indigo and violet. See, halfway through I couldn't remember what the colours were. And then, just wait. So you can do that whilst I'm telling the story, and then when we get to the part of the story where we're going to do the experiment, I will let you know, all right? So this is the story, I Can Sing a Rainbow. Raymond the Rainbow was crying. Oh, what's wrong? Said Claude the Cloud. Oh, nothing, said Raymond, lying. No, no, said Claude, don't be proud. Well, I am a rainbow, aren't I? Said Raymond, looking forlorn. Of course you are, said Claude. Why? Well, where have all my colours gone? I used to be red and orange and yellow and green, blue, indigo, violet, you see. But it's been ages since I've seen the colours that make me me. And Raymond wasn't wrong. In fact, he was really right. In the sky he was curved and long, but his only colour was white. And Claude had barely noticed his friend's colours disappear, but he supposed that this was why Raymond shed a tear. Well, what happened? Claude asked. You used to be so proud. In your colours we would bask, and you'd stand out from the crowd. Raymond said, I think it's to do with a pot of gold. People's hearts always sink when it's not where they've been told. Well, where should it be? Asked Claude, shocked to hear Raymond say, at the end of the rainbow, which is odd, because my ends just fade away, so no one ever finds them, which means no one finds the gold. So can I really be a rainbow then? And Claude said, if I may be so bold. If you're not what people expect, it's them that are in the wrong. Of course you're a rainbow, and with respect, I've known it all along. Never try to be what people think you should, and never change what people see, because being you is good. Claude thought his friend would smile at these words. He waited for a while, but no smiling occurred. And so he tried some tricks to try and get some laughs. He shapeshifted into chopsticks, a canoe and a giraffe. But all Raymond could think about was how his colours had gone away. If he'd believed in himself, he had no doubt he'd still have his colours today. And then he said, I get it. I have to believe in me. I can't get upset if I'm not what people want me to be. I was being me, and I was being me with pride. I can't let people get to me and make my colours hide. Oh, Claude could have cried and said with some relief, I'm pleased to see you've tried to restore your self-belief. And then they watched, and they waited for Raymond's colours to return, and then they got frustrated. They had a lot to learn. You see, being who you are takes guts and confidence. Yes, you will become a star, but it won't happen all at once. Sometimes what you need are friends who want you to be you. And Claude, well, he agreed, and he knew just what to do. As fast as the wind would let him, he floated to Sunil the sun, in the hopes that he could get him to join in some science fun. Claude started to explain that Sunil would need to shine on cue. First, Claude would have to rain, and then what Sunil would do is shine as bright as he possibly could on our friend the rainbow, and the rain and the sun hopefully would bring Raymond's colours back in one go. Sunil couldn't wait. He'd long admired Raymond's hues. He'd been missing them of late, which ironically gave him the blues. But the summer had been long and dry, and Claude didn't need to rain. So Sunil had to try and make him cry again and again and again. And Sunil tried everything. Sad stories, sad songs and more. He even tried a bee sting, but then Claude only swore. And then Sunil realised how to get some tears. He showed Claude pictures of clear blue skies, one of Claude's very worst fears. Claude started welling up. This was going to work for sure. Claude's whole body started swelling up. There was about to be a downpour. So Claude raced back to the rainbow fella and let out a great big cry. Raymond got out his umbrella as rain poured from the sky. And then Raymond threw the umbrella away. He knew what was going on. Claude and Sunil were saving the day and making sure his colours shone. Raymond looked up in the sky and saw Sunil shining bright, and then he wondered why he'd ever doubted he'd be all right. And now magic was happening, and this is where you come in. So if you've got your sheets of kitchen roll that you've coloured in the edges, get your 2 bowls of water, and we're going to sing a magic song and dip our rainbows in the bowl, and we will make our very own rainbow. Are you ready? Here comes the song. All right, let's dip our kitchen roll in the water. Ooh. Red and yellow and pink and green, purple and orange and blue. I can sing a rainbow, sing a rainbow, sing a rainbow too. Listen with your eyes, listen with your ears, and sing everything you see. I can sing a rainbow, sing a rainbow, sing along with me. Red and yellow and pink and green, purple and orange and blue. I I can sing a rainbow, sing a rainbow, sing a rainbow too. Listen with your eyes, listen with your ears, and sing everything you see. I can sing a rainbow, sing a rainbow, sing along with me one more time. Red and yellow and pink and green, purple and orange and blue. I can sing a rainbow, sing a rainbow, sing a rainbow too. And when Claude had run out of rain, and Sunil could shine no more, they finally saw their friend again. Raymond's colours had been restored. And how have your rainbows worked out? Have we got some rainbows of our own? Raymond was red and orange and yellow and green, blue, indigo, violet. He was the brightest he had ever been, and yet he had almost stopped himself from shining. He hadn't known what to do. It turns out he'd just needed reminding. The best way to shine is to be you. The end. Oh, did you enjoy that one? That story was called I Can Sing a Rainbow, and it was by moi. And I even built myself a little toy theatre for it as well, because I thought, well, why not? In for a penny, in for a pound. Now, since you listened so well, and you joined in so well as well, I've got another story for you, but this has been written by somebody else, and it comes complete with pictures. Fancy that. This story is called Boom Bang Royal Meringue. It's by Sally Doran and Rachel Saunders, and it is provided courtesy of the gorgeous people at Andersen Press. Young Princess Hannah grew up in a palace with her father King Monty and mother Queen Alice. She always said thank you and pardon and please. She ate all her cabbage and parsnips and peas. I'm ever so proud, said the king to his wife. She's the finest young lady I've met in my life. The queen quite agreed, so they planned it together. Their daughter deserved the best birthday ever. Happy birthday, my dear, what a day, said the king. We've bought you this marvellous, wonderful thing. She ripped off the paper and pulled off the bow. What is it? She asked. Why, my dear, don't you know? It was big, it was gold, it had buttons and cogs. It had hundreds of dials and switches and knobs. And just look what's piped on the front, said the queen. The marvellous, magical pudding machine. Thank you, said Hannah. The king and queen smiled. They really had raised the most wonderful child. That evening they threw her a big birthday ball in the palace's fabulous banqueting hall. Every young person from far and from wide was invited to dine by the princess's side. Well, now that the party is in full swing, bring forth the pudding machine, said the king. So the big gold machine was wheeled into view to the sounds of wow and look and ooh. The princess played with the buttons and knobs. She spun all the dials and turned all the cogs. With a boom and a pop, bright sparks filled the air, and out shot a glorious chocolate eclair. Then with a crash and a bang and a fizzle, out shot a pudding with caramel drizzle. Well done, my dear, said the king. What a show! Now why don't we let all your friends have a go? But the princess climbed down straight away and said, No! That present is mine, the young royal howled, and she threw her tiara and pouted and scowled. She thumped her fists and stamped on the floor and threw all her puddings and cakes at the door. Something's quite wrong, she's ill, the king said, as a bowl of rice pudding sailed right past his head. No, said the queen, brushing cream from her hair. It seems we've forgotten to teach her to share. But hang on a minute. Whatever is that? Boom, bang, thumpety splat. The young guests were giving the buttons a bang till out shot a huge pie with blackbirds that sang. The crowd said, "Goodness, and my, what a thing!" And the princess stopped crying and smiled at the king. "Just look at that pie. Wait for me," Hannah said as she pushed her tiara back onto her head. She played with her friends, and to her surprise, together they made better puddings and pies. A jelly appeared with a boom and a pop, with fireworks shooting right out of the top. Then out flew a pudding shaped like a boat, and a gingerbread castle complete with a moat. The big gold machine then coughed, shook and spluttered. "Good gracious, it's bulging," the king and queen muttered. With a boom and a bang came a sparkling pink cloud, and a hush spread through all the guests in the crowd. For a giant meringue, almost 20 feet tall, now sat on the floor of the banqueting hall. The crowd all cheered. "Well, perhaps we should eat," said the queen to the king as she got to her feet. "Fetch some meringue," said the king. "Ah, yes, and some cream and some berries. We'll have Eton mess." So straight up the sugary face Hannah sped, and carved out some pieces as big as her head. A wonderful time was had by them all, as laughter and joy filled the banqueting hall. "Just look at the time, it's late," the king said. "It's time Princess Hannah was off to her bed." So she thanked all her guests, and curtsied and bowed. "What a charming princess she is," said the crowd. From that moment, Hannah was good as can be, always sharing her cakes when her friends came to tea. And as for the meringue, well, from what I hear, to eat the whole thing took the kingdom a year. Thank you so much to Andersen Press for letting me share that story with you. That was Boom Bang Royal Meringue. I said a Boom Bang Royal Meringue. I always have to do that. I don't know why. By Sally Doran and Rachel Saunders. Now, it's almost time for my last story for now. But don't forget, if you'd like to keep up with my adventures, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Just search for @MermaGStories. And I do love to hear from you. You can leave comments, you can say hello, anything really. I'd just like to know that you're watching, so do drop in and say hello. But before I go, I'm going to finish with one of my classic stories. This is called Eunice the Horse. Eunice the Horse? Well, that's a silly sounding name for a horse, isn't it? Well, it hardly canters off the tongue like Bugs Bunny, or Mickey Mouse, or Ryan Reynolds, or... If we could just have a moment, please, to appreciate Ryan Reynolds. But Eunice the Horse? Oh, come on, what a silly sounding name. And Eunice thought so too. You see, Eunice knew she wasn't a horse. Eunice was a horse. She had been born a horse, and she had horse parents, and on the Happy Hill farm, she lived in a field full of other horses. But, and I should tell you, the Happy Hill farm was actually run by a very famous farmer, probably the most famous farmer of them all. So famous, in fact, that there's a song about him. So you'll never guess what we're about to sing. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on that farm he had a horse, E-I-E-I-O. With a neigh-neigh here and a neigh-neigh there, here a neigh, there a neigh, everywhere a neigh-neigh. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. But the only problem was that Eunice knew she wasn't a horse. Eunice used to watch the other horses jumping over fences, and she thought, oh no, I'm not going to jump. I'd much rather fly. And Eunice used to watch the other horses trotting around the field, and she thought, oh no, I'm not going to trot. They kick up dust and I'd much rather kick up magic. And wherever Eunice stepped in her field, she saw horse poop. Oh! And she thought, oh no, I'm not going to poop. Not until I can poop glitter. You see, Eunice knew she wasn't a horse, but the problem is that Eunice didn't know what she was supposed to be. And this made Eunice very, very sad. Well, one day, Eunice's best friend, Hortense the horse, now that is a good name for a horse, well, one day, Hortense the horse decided to intervene. Eunice, she said, there's a whole world out there, and I think it's time for you to explore it. So, Eunice took a leap of faith and jumped over the fence with Hortense. The two horses had barely landed when Hortense saw her best friend trotting off to investigate some large, pink, round objects that were playing in the mud. Now, at this point, I do need to introduce you to somebody very, very important to our story. So, I want you all to say a very big hello to Eunice the horse. Hello, darling. How are you? You good? Oh, lovely. Now, Eunice is going to investigate something that's large, pink, round, likes playing in the mud, and lives on a farm. Who thinks they might know what Eunice is about to meet? Oh, well, there's only one way to find out. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on that farm he had a pig, E-I-E-I-O. With an oink oink here and a oink oink there, here a oink, there a oink, everywhere a oink oink. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. So the two horses went into the pigsty and did what pigs do. They rolled around in the mud, they oinked and grunted, and they ate everything that was thrown at them. Well, eventually Eunice realised that being dirty all the time really wasn't for her. You see, Eunice knew she wasn't a horse, but now she knew she wasn't a pig either. So the two horses went to the next field. Now, in the next field was something much bigger than a pig, quite often black and white, and might even help us with our breakfast, unless we're vegan. So who thinks they might know what that is? Oh, well, there's only one way to find out. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on that farm he had a cow, E-I-E-I-O. With a moo-moo here and a moo-moo there, here a moo, there a moo, everywhere a moo-moo. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. So the two horses went into the cow's field and did what cows do. They sat down when they thought it was going to rain. They ate all the grass and they farted so much that they thought they were about to destroy the planet. Well, eventually Eunice realised that eating so much grass you had to fart all the time really wasn't for her. You see, Eunice knew she wasn't a horse, but now she knew she wasn't a cow either. So the two horses went to the next field. Now, in the next field was something smaller than a cow, quite woolly, and might help us stay warm in the winter, again, unless we're vegan. So who thinks they might know what that is? Well, there's only one way to find out. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on that farm he had a sheep, E-I-E-I-O. With a ba-ba here and a ba-ba there, here a ba, there a ba, everywhere a ba-ba. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. So the two horses went into the sheep's field and did what sheep do. They got herded into another field by a dog. They blindly followed the other sheep around, and they panicked every time they smelled mint. Well, eventually Eunice realised that she was far too independent to be a sheep. You see, Eunice knew she wasn't a horse, but now she knew she wasn't a sheep either. And that night, Eunice cried herself to sleep. But that night, the sky was full of millions of stars. And that night, the northern star shone the brightest and cast a magical spell over Eunice and the Happy Hill farm. That night, Eunice's life changed forever. When she woke up, she felt different. She knew what she had to do. First of all, she had to wake up Hortense. What is it? Hortense, I know what I'm supposed to be, but I need your help to make the changes. Now, the first thing that Eunice needed was to be able to poop glitter and rainbows. So, the two horses galloped down to the farmhouse. Hortense did some reconnaissance, and when Eunice got the all clear, she kicked the front door down and ransacked the house until she found the arts and crafts supplies. Hortense was a little bit surprised to see her best friend eating glitter like it was the finest hay, but she knew not to question someone following their dreams. The second thing that Eunice needed was to be able to fly. Well, the two horses caused havoc in the chicken pen, plucking the birds of their feathers. Hortense was a little bit surprised to see her best friend sticking feathers to her back with glue from the farmhouse, but she knew not to question someone following their dreams. And the last thing that Eunice needed was a horn. But where was she going to get one of those? They looked all over the farm, but they couldn't see a rhinoceros or an antelope or a bison anywhere. Could this be the end of Eunice's dream? And then Hortense realized, turn that glue stick upside down. Well, even though it was her idea, Hortense was still a little bit surprised to see her best friend sticking a glue stick to her forehead, but she knew not to question someone following their dreams. Now the transformation was complete. Who thinks they might know what Eunice has transformed into? Any ideas? Well, there's only one way to find out. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on that farm he had a unicorn, E-I-E-I-O. With a wow wow here and a wow wow there. Here a wow, there a wow, everywhere a wow wow. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. Eunice the unicorn? Now that sounds right. Eunice the unicorn flew around the farm. The pigs oinked, the cows mooed, the sheep baaed, and the chickens, even though the chickens were now completely naked, they were proud. Proud to have helped someone become fabulous, and proud to have helped someone become who they were supposed to be. You see, Eunice knew she wasn't a horse, because Eunice was a unicorn. And from that day, Eunice the unicorn never looked back. Oh, well, apart from when she farted glitter. But that's always worth looking back at. The end. Oh, everyone say goodbye, Eunice. Bye. Oh, lovely. Well, look, that was the story of Eunice the horse, and it was my last story for today. But if you'd like to know what happens to Eunice the horse, you can actually go and find my podcast, the Story Time with Mama G podcast, and one of the latest episodes is a sequel to the Eunice the horse story. It is called The Legend of Eunice the unicorn. So go and have a listen to that. Before I go, I'd like to finish on a song, because sometimes people will try and tell you that who you want to be or who you want to love, people will try and tell you that those things are wrong, and that can make you feel quite sad. So when people say that to me, because they do, they say it to adults as well, you know. When people say that to me, I just think about what makes me happy, because the things that make me happiest are the things that make me me. And the thing that makes me especially happy is getting to be a pantomime dame and tell you lovely lots of wonderful stories. So we're going to sing a song about how happy being a pantomime dame makes me. And you can certainly join in as we go along, and you will definitely know the first verse. Here we go. you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, and you really want to show it, if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're tired of wearing hats, then wear a wig. Woo, woo! If you're tired of wearing hats, then wear a wig. Woo, woo! If you're tired of wearing hats, I can help you out with that. If you're tired of wearing hats, then wear a wig. Woo, woo! If sequins are your style, then shimmy and shake. Ooh! If sequins are your style, then shimmy and shake. Ooh! If sequins are your style, and they really make you smile. If sequins are your style, then shimmy and shake. Ooh! If you're good at telling jokes, then have a laugh. If you're good at telling jokes, then have a laugh. If you're good at telling jokes, better than the other folks. If you're good at telling jokes, then have a laugh. If you're feeling fabulous, then shout, I am, I am. If you're feeling fabulous, then shout, I am, I am. If you're feeling fabulous, just like the rest of us. If you're feeling fabulous, then shout, I am, I am. Thank you so much for joining me. I will see you all next week. Bye for now. It's story time with Mama G. Come and hear a story with me. Love who you want to be, who you are. Learn these lessons and we'll go far. It's story time. Story time. Story time with Mama G.